film it in no time. But
yeah, well, we're officially live. So, and I didn't even grab my Red Bull yet, so I'm going to leave you hanging here in a second. That'll be fun leaving you on your own on the channel for a moment. But hey,
I figured he's a restroom, so
happy Saturday, everybody! It is Saturday, March 23rd, 2024. Cole here, and I are very early into this endeavor. Welcome everybody to the Creative Tech. I'm Joseph Sunderman, the host, and here you're my, I guess, co-host or partner here in this endeavor, because this is bigger than both of us. Cole Chase, my friend Cole Chase. William's still on tour. I'm hoping he can come back when he gets back. He's interested in being part of this gig. But yeah, we're here today, and today we're going to be talking about tech influencers. That's today's title for today's session. Our discussion is going to be around tech influencers. If you guys are watching this and you guys want to get engaged and follow along in any way, shape, or form, join the group. Send us a post who your favorite influencers are. Again, this is very early stages of this creative tech community, and we're building it out. So it's crickets right now. We get that, and we know that we're basically prepping and preparing, and if we stick with this, hopefully things happen, especially if we can get the word out there, which we plan on doing with events and things of that nature. We'll talk about that a little bit more later, but for today, I just want to open up, say we're going to go over our favorite tech influencers. I should say our favorite. There's so many, right? And it comes in seasons. Sometimes I'll watch one for a long time. Would you say you go through seasons with your influencers and what you watch?
I was gonna say the same thing, because when you asked me, last week, hey, come up with 5 influencers that you like, I'm like, man, that 5 kind of switches, I would say, with the seasons. I would say that's how quickly I'm switching between YouTubers, depending on the season of life I'm in and what I'm looking to get out of it. So, there's several tech influencers I go to for information, and then there's several tech influencers I go for entertainment. So I kind of cycle through the two when I'm looking for something specific. Maybe I want a new camera. Maybe I want a new lens. I'm going to maybe reach for a potato jet. But then maybe if I just want some nice photography, film photography, some entertainment, I don't want to be pushed anything, I'm going to go for someone like William Verbeek, who has a 2-hour ASMR style film photography video. So for me, and I'm sure like you said, my influencers are changing with the seasons, I'd say. At least my top ones. I definitely circle back to those, the big ones, Potato Jet, Peter McKinnon, some of the bigger ones. I'm always going to click on their video once a month, something like that. But I'm also a big fan of looking at the smaller influencers now that pop up. It's kind of rewarding to see a channel with 1,000 subscribers or less, and you click on that video, you end up watching the whole thing, and you're like, wow, I got just as much value out of this as I did one of the other influencers. So for me, that would say,
it's not so much about the influencer themselves or their level. It's because even I feel like we have a lot to contribute if we had the right the right mindset and the capabilities of doing it over and over again. And we'll get into more of that later, because we're going to have a time for us to talk about some of our personal endeavors and things of that nature. But to kick things off today with today's session with tech influencers, are 3 topics. Again, every one of these sessions is going to have a focus, which is tech influencers, and then 3 different. We lost Cole here. Hopefully that was a temporary thing. I'm not sure what happened there. Yeah. He kind of just fell off. His camera died,
I looked up all the settings for this camera to make sure it doesn't shut off, but it seems to want to
turn technical difficulties. Anyway, so we have 3 topics while he's playing around with that, and the 3 topics are generally supposed to gear towards that focus. We have a education platform called Sessions with my business Icora, and basically we're taking Sessions, which is an education platform where we teach people in business how to use their technology stack and make their workforce align better with their technology stack. What we're talking about today is the past, present, and future. Those are the three topics I picked today. Now, you hit on something a second ago, Cole, where you were talking about that they potentially, you go through seasons, and depending on what you're going to do, it could be entertainment, it could be for learning something. And that I wanted to have three topics that could have been around, like, educational ones. So let's go over those influences. We'll go over the ones for entertainment purposes. And with that, to me, that was just a future session. I didn't really know how to go about it. But today I want to focus, because we're so new with the creative tech, my mind went, let's just do the past, present, future. Let's use this opportunity to highlight what the creative tech is. So we got our list of creative techs, and we know what the creative tech is supposed to become. And I guess we're going to put words in our favorite influencers' mouth. We're going to pretend like, hey, let's say if they were working with us, how would they be how are they a creative tech? And let's look at their past and see how their past, and we'll go through the list and look at their past and see how they align to become a creative tech. And then we'll look at their present and go from there. And then we'll go to their, future and talk about where we see them going in the future. So those are the three different topics we're going to talk about today with our list of influencers. And so Cole says device not connected, and I can't hear anything he says when his screen is disconnected. So I don't know if he's talking to me or anything. So to get started, I guess we're supposed to go into the catching up part now, where we can talk about Cole's projects. So I'll go ahead and talk about some of my projects real quick while we're waiting on. And I don't know if he can. Up, Joe, I'm trying to start a podcast, so thanks for adding. Same. Gotta go, brother. But I guess I need to get on Facebook and say who's talking to us. Cole has now completely left the studio, so I am solo operating today. This is great. Great start to the session. So anyway, favorite influencers. If you start to think about, I'm going to go ahead and move on from catching up part. Cole and I can catch up on our endeavors and what we're doing later down the road. I'm going to go ahead and dive into this week's session. And I asked Cole to send me his list of 5 tech influencers. I had a hard time coming up with 5 influencers. I only have 4 at the moment. I had some technical difficulties this morning myself getting prepared for the show. So I have our list of tech influencers. And I'm going to be sharing my screen to some degree here, because I want you guys to see the rawness, where we are with this endeavor. And if anybody watching this actually likes what we're trying to build here, what I'm trying to build, I can't do alone. I have so many endeavors. The reason why I started the creative tech was to find my army. I need people in order for me to build the world and the community that I want to build or be a part of. It's really like when I was young, all my friends started joining these gangs. I thought that was cool and all, but like, I get the idea of being in a gang, close friends, sharing resources, almost like a family, and the concept of it. And I saw how serious they were taking it. And these kids all came from broken homes and things of that nature. So they just wanted their family, is how I looked at it. I'm like, why are you guys going out there like the folks? Anybody remember, Folks, Insane Clown Posse, Forks Up, Folks Down, which is a disrespect to the folk. Like, there's so many things about gangs and gang signs and people that live in violent environments that take that serious. Like, gangs are serious shit. And my friends are trying to represent a gang in Kenton, Ohio, a little farm hick town, Kenton, Ohio. Like, you go to Little Rock, Arkansas, and see that's where gangbangers are. That's fucking ruthless. Anyway, getting too deep into my story here. Bottom line is I told my friends, no, we like to hang out in cornfields. We smoke weed. We hang out and party. We love music. Let's start our own clique called the Smoke Dogs. So that's what I did. And that's kind of what I've always embodied going through life. Like, start something, do something. It's always, I'm always find myself as the one driving things or starting something, because I want us to own it. I want it to be us. I want it to be authentic. So, that was 25 years ago plus. So fast forward to today, where now we're not just hanging out with friends in our community, partying and smoking weed and things. Now we are delivering services. We are keeping systems going. We're allowing people to, pump their gas and get to work. And like, we are part of the system. We are, our youth that we're raising today will take over and run things themselves. So I find myself as an adult running things, and yeah, it's very difficult to do on your own if you want to make a big impact. So I want an army. Now, the topics today, past, present, future, are going to go over the tech influencers. So before we can talk about the tech influencers, I'm going to go over our list. And so let me go ahead and start. First of all, I know he was working on his list too, and Cole's very young. He's still a young engineer. He is having some technical issues with his camera right now. So if he jumps in here, we'll go.
I am right back.
Look, there he is.
I don't know if it's StreamYard or what it is, but gosh.
Well,
dude, this is bad.
But it's part of what I was telling you before. I want to keep it raw, right? I want to keep it engaging. So we're 10 minutes in right now. We've done the intro. I did skip over us catching up. So if we have time later, we will work on, we'll discuss some of our projects and things that's going on. But for right now, I'm just going to go ahead and pull up our list that we have here. So let's do this. I like this view better, actually. There we go. So on our list, I got mine listed first because I started this document, and then down here, and to Cole's defense, like, he learned about this 20 minutes before. We're going to try to get together before. If anybody wants to help out with our show, please let me know. Email us. It's info, or just email me right now, because I need to set up the info at creativetech.ai, creativetech.ai. So if you go to Joseph at creativetech.ai, email me. Happy to, get you involved in helping out with this. Definitely go join the group, facebook.com/groups/the creative tech. And we will definitely, just let us know when you fill out the questions, let us know. All right, let's get into it. Past. Well, first, focus. We got to talk about the focus. We got to talk about the tech influencers, right? I got the list up here. Chris Do from the future. I know he's been on other channels in the past. The future is his current gig, and I guess he has his own YouTube channel as well, which I haven't seen much of, but I'd really love the future and the mission behind their channel. And Chris Do is kind of the front man of that band, and at least one of the front men. I don't know if there's I don't entirely know their breakdown, but again, they embody what I envisioned the creative tech to be. Alex Hermosi, if you haven't heard of him, this dude is killing it on the web right now. He is an amazing, he understands business, marketing, and truly how to find the why and the reasons of what you're doing. And I don't want to talk about why too much till we get to my boy Simon here in a minute. He wrote a book on, start with why, which is huge, and I've read that book 2 times now. And for me to read a book, I didn't read a book until I was over 40, and to read a book multiple times, his book's really good. I'm jumping the gun. We're skipping over Vin Yang. Vin Yang is an incredible artist. He is a magician, and he also talks about public speaking. He wants you to have confidence, and your voice is like a melody. You can talk high, you can talk low, inflections. When you're talking, are you listening to a song, or are you talking monotone the whole time and getting everybody to listen to you talk because you talk like this the whole time? Yeah, he talks about how you can truly get people's attention, keep their attention using body language and things of that nature. So huge contributor to my development as a creative tech. Simon Sinek, and then we had a little spit spat before this that I picked Potato Jet, and I haven't put anything about him here yet. And since you're here, Cole, and I'm excited that you're back because I didn't know how to go over your influencers, will you please go over your list of influencers?
Yeah, so probably my number one influencer right now that I am waiting, hitting refresh.
I do apologize to interrupt you. I'm going to go grab my Red Bull, so you go ahead and keep going. I'm going to disappear for a second, but I'll be right back. You keep going, and I'll come back to keep the screen scrolling. All right, thanks.
So Andres Vidoza is a Canadian-based YouTuber that has a focus on tech, but he's able to bring in other elements to it, such as he drives a nice Audi car. He's got nice videos about cars. He's got tech. He's a big person on reviewing the latest cell phones. So he's constantly switching from iPhone to Samsung and showing, a day in the life. So for him, he's a pretty all-around tech influencer / YouTuber. He's got a pretty sweet office space where him and his assistant Jan or editor Jan work out together. And I just really enjoy the content because they'll put out an hour and a half BTS vlog style content that I really enjoy. But then
Whoa, what happened, buddy? Cole? Uh-oh. Am I locked up or did Cole lock up? Are you back?
Yeah, I don't.
All right, no worries. Hey, these are everybody. You're seeing the true rawness of our current status of where we are, and it's. I actually enjoy it
further along, considering this whole COVID push in 2020. Everybody went virtual, and everyone has their at-home setup. So you think we wouldn't have issues like this, but yeah, here we are.
Well, there's a few things to consider in that, right? I've had this same setup right here for 2 or 3 years now. You are still developing yours. So that's where that's what I feel like is happening right now. You may have a setup right now, but is it you literally just like got everything set up. You're still moving things around. You're not comfortable there yet. You know what I mean? You'll get there.
Yeah, I think the biggest thing for me is getting, off my feet, getting a nice setup like you. But yeah, we'll keep going. So Andres Vidoza, again, is just an all-around YouTuber. And then probably Matthew Encina has a little more focused content. A lot of his content is about creating and designing. So he has videos designing his office in an industrial loft in LA. And that mainly focused on, he does woodworking. He has his own company where he makes keyboards and keycaps. So it's a different style of content, but it's still in that tech space. He's reviewing keyboards, monitors, all those cool things. But he has a really nice aesthetic to it. So I'm a big fan. William Verbeek. So this is someone that I don't really go to for information. It's more for entertainment. However, there is quite a bit of information packed in there without you really knowing it. So he is a film photographer. That's the majority of his content. And I myself, I don't even shoot film. But, when I do eventually pick up a film camera, that's how I'm going to follow. I'm going to watch his video, shooting film for the first time, that kind of thing. And then Reynard Lau is a YouTuber that focuses all about design and aesthetic. So he pushes out a video every week talking about common design trends, maybe upcoming design trends. So it's just a different style of content. It's a pretty nice, well-rounded group of influencers that I watch that all kind of have their own niche. So I'm a big fan of kind of switching things up, checking out a new YouTuber, kind of sticking with them for a few months, and then hopefully, stick with them full time if I get value from the content. So I would say that's my stack right there.
Yeah. So starting out, this is the first guy you talked about here. And we can take a look at his channel real quick. Again, this is part of the focus discussion, right? I know I kind of started talking like, let's go to topic 1. Like, whoa, we haven't talked about the focus yet. So the focuses is this list of guys. I think we have 8 total. I'm leaving Potato Jet out of it just because 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. These are the 8 people that we were able to get into our list before we started. So we're just going to start 4 and 4. And we're just going to look at this list to just take a quick glance at each channel, right? So if we look at, how do you say his name again?
I believe it's Andres Vidoza.
Okay, Andres Vidoza.
He's Brazilian.
Yep, and definitely excited to check him out, and we'll get him some more subscribers potentially if people watch this and are interested. And then Matthew Encina. Now that I'm seeing the guy, he works with my number 1 guy that I picked, Chris Doe. He's part of the future. This guy here.
Oh, actually, not to cut you off, but he posted one of his first videos on this channel was him leaving his job at the future to start his own YouTube channel.
Yeah, so, and that's the whole. Yep. Go ahead. Sorry.
No, I was going to say that I knew you said the future. I'm like, oh, that sounds so familiar. And I realized Matthew Encina posted a video about that job and leaving his job and starting his own YouTube channel and it's more than just his own YouTube channel, because now he has all these brand collaborations for design. So it's really exciting stuff, but you can tell there's a lot of things that carried over from his time working at the Future.
I guarantee you they're still intertwined. And this is a huge talking point on the creative tech, and this is why I think the whole idea of what we have is gold, because what we have here is like-minded people that are bringing people like this together, like you and I watching these different things, and you're like, oh, the future, like we're connecting dots is what I'm saying. And by doing that, you're going to learn more. I'm going to get something out of this. I get something out of these sessions all the time. That's what people don't understand. Like even at my level, like people are always like, well, how do you have all this stuff? How do you have businesses? How are you doing all this? I'm like, there's a world of people out here doing this stuff. You should be part of that world. And I am. I'm dumping in. And in a year from now, when I have all these videos and I'm still talking about these guys, I'm pointing to them in my videos and linking to them and mentioning them in my comments and stuff, that's organic. It will happen over time. You have to live it and breathe it. And I've seen that in the business world. That's why I have confidence, all the confidence in the world, that if I just keep my businesses running smooth and I find a time to start doing this consistently, which is 1 o'clock on Saturdays is how I'm starting. And Cole, I know that this can get overwhelming at times, but the most important, if we all fall off the face of the earth, as long as we get here at 1 o'clock on Saturday and we get that show going, and this is the third one, remember that. This is number 3. We're still in the single digits. Once we get to 11 and 13 and we get to 31 and then we get to 310, just watch what happens. If you give up early in the game, because that's what most people do, they don't have a clear vision of where they're going. They don't know what's going. Anyway, I'm going to shut up now and just let's get back to the beautiful thing that happens. It's happening. We'll get there. Don't worry. And come back and, if I said I'm going to do it, come back. I bet you I did it. So where are we at? You're on your second guy. Awesome. Let's go ahead and move. Or anything else on this guy?
No, I just really like his aesthetic of his videos. He's very good about keeping a consistent branding. And I think that's one of the hardest things for a new YouTuber is creating your own brand and kind of sticking to it, because I watch his videos for a lot of the same points. I guess I'm looking for quality cinematography. I'm looking to get value out of the video. I would say there's an entertainment value for sure, but a lot of the value is in the content itself and him showing his design process. But the entertainment does add some value. So that is definitely kind of somewhere in the middle. And then William Verbeek is the film photographer that I enjoy watching. Again, I don't shoot film, but there is a pretty satisfying I guess reaction you get when watching film photography, hearing all the mechanical sounds, the clicking, looking at the film process of actually converting it to a digital file that you're able to upload online like he's able to and actually create content about. So it's really cool to see the whole film process and the and everything intertwined with that. So I'm a big fan of him. He actually has a second YouTube channel I watch too, that focuses on Volvo car restorations. And
oh, really?
Yeah, it's pretty cool stuff. So yeah, and then Renard Lau is someone that I watch mainly because, again, I've spent a lot of time trying to figure out how I want my office to look like. So right now I'm kind of in that season of YouTubers that focus on design or aesthetic. So that's why Renard is in my, I guess, toolbox of one of my top influencers right now, because awesome. I do really value the content he does put out.
Well, I think that's awesome. And to go through my list, Chris Do, he's still at the Future. And again, just learned that he has his own channel as well. But the thing about the Future is they're here to, their goal. And I even on our document, and we're going to finish this document. We're actually going to make this a resource, and we're going to add other influencers in here. We're going to have a list of influencers, and we're going to creative tech attributes. We're going to put that on there. That way we have, like, if somebody wants to say, hey, I want to be a YouTuber, I want to have something, like, okay, what kind of YouTuber do you want to be? This will become a tool to help identify different types of, like, this will help you find your voice and find a way for you to embody something. Because even if I look at your handful of influencers that you give, like, this clean look right here. I see the look like his studio space. Like I see I can tell by looking at your studio space with the white shelving, like you can see there's some inspiration there. There's, and kind of almost when you first started with your A7 III or your your A7 III, and then it looks like you switched over to your webcam because you were having issues with it. But when you were on your A7 III, it was very bright and clean, like his aesthetic, and it almost was like I'm dark and night, you're day, but now your current image is a little bit more blended in with my image, so when we're side by side, it's not as jarring, and you wouldn't think it, but that affects your brand. This dark background and everything looking kind of gradient. So like it was pretty funny too, because my brand guidelines, I'm going along, I gotta stay focused. We are 30 minutes into this almost, and I'm already like all over the place. Bottom line is you start to build your brand, and my brand guidelines, just because of the consistency of this look right here, gradients are part of my brand guidelines now, because that's my designer is really awesome. Jade is an incredible designer, and she looks for things and her capability. Like, I just love when you have ideas and you have a vision, things just come together. And you obviously have that come together here with this guy in the future, from the future. Anyway, so this is really great. Chris Do, he teaches people how to think and frame things and how to be a better creative business wise. Alex Hormozi, this dude is all about, here's how you have to do it until it's right. You do it 1,000 times until you can't simplify it or make it any better. He's about, making that money and just growing. And I can't wait till one of my companies can team up with, or in the realm of teaming up with acquisition.com or something like that. And then we have Ving Yang here. He's a magician that went from being a magician, because he was really good at the hand part and the whole, whatever they call that, where you have to be fast. What's that called when, like, not stamina? Sleight of hand. Really good at it. And but his shows sucked, and he learned that he had to learn how to communicate. And by diving into that world, he found a passion for it and got really good at it. And now he's teaching others. And I implore anybody to go just check out his shorts. Before YouTube was a thing, go check out his shorts, everybody. Just go check out his shorts. Watch his shorts, every one of them. That would just sound
go check it out. I'm not hip to him either. I think I've definitely seen him pop up. Anyone with a 1.5 million subscribers, you've probably seen pop up somewhere, whether it's Facebook, Instagram, whatever. But yeah, I'll check it out too. Simon Sinek
is the last one I'm going to bring up. And this guy is just the nerdiest nerd you'll ever meet. He is just the goofy. And in fact, this video right here, when I played earlier, autoplayed. Hold on, let's go to the beginning. Listen to this. Yeah, how nerdy is that for real? That he just comes off super nerd, but the fucking brilliance behind everything he says is just phenomenal. He's written multiple books. Leaders Eat Last. I believe that one big time. Don't take your plate, don't take your fill until all of those that you are in charge of, charge and taken care of, are taken care of. And then you can get your fill. And Start With Why is a huge, just incredible influencer, incredible mind, incredible way of framing things and shaping cultures. Both Chris Do, Ving Yang, Alex Hormozi, all four of the ones I picked are huge into culture. And you know what? I don't know why I didn't say this before, but Gary Vee is my fifth one, not Potato Jet, because I think I'm more into the people that are helping others. Just quit being dumb and wasting your fucking time and get your shit together and move on. Get it done and do it right. Pull up your big girl panties, pull up your big boy pants, and get it done. Anyway, that's the focus today. Fucking an hour talking about the focus. This will get better as we go, I promise.
I think too is all your people, you're in that period of life right now where those are the things that you value. And you can kind of see how all of your influencers are kind of on that same path. Whereas mine too are kind of in that same, like Andres, he's not really giving you business advice, but he's giving you advice on maybe what camera to buy. And maybe that's what's important to me right now. I'm not really worried about creating a culture or anything like that. I don't have people that work under me. So it's just, we're in different seasons of life, and who you value and who you want to actually dedicate your time to changes. Because to get someone to invest 10 minutes of undivided time to watch your video, take them away from everything going around in their life, whether it's, whatever it may be, to get someone to sit there and focus on your video for 10 minutes, distraction free, that's so hard to do. But when you do it, then you're doing something right. So, that's just one thing to keep in mind. So really excited.
And as we look into the first topic, which is the past, we need to, it's where these guys started out. So let's just start there. Let's start with this Andres, where he's a kid. He is just starting out. Like, you think he's going to be doing YouTube forever? I hope he does. But do you think YouTube's the only thing he does? I don't know. These are your guys's. The topic today, because we didn't get it out in time, is past, present, future. We're just going to generalize, talk about it. So his past, where did this guy come from? Where, we talked about him. He came from the future. He's been embodied with other creative techs, and they all lived together. Or I would say they actually lived together, but they all live within the, close to each other, enough to each other to be able to come to work together and work at a studio together. And that's another thing. The future's content and the way they have, online sessions. This is a session. Like, I do plan on having sessions where we educate people and have a board where we go over and answer questions and things of that nature. So, we know his past to some degree, but yeah, do you know where the origin story is for these guys?
So I know, starting with my first guy, Andres, he started making YouTube videos, I believe, when he was in college for computer science. So if you're in school for computer science, you're going to be involved with tech because they go hand in hand. So I think that's how he got his start. And then I believe the video that kind of created everything for him is, I think 3 years ago, he created a desk video that now has like 2.5 million views or something like that. And I know that video specifically is what pushed him from just creating content in his bedroom to now having his own studio, moving out of his parents' house, getting his dream car at 26 is one of his videos, all these things. But it all started with schooling and tech, and he was learning about tech. So then it's kind of easy to make content about things you enjoy. So I think that's probably one of his first things is like, I'm really into tech. How can I help out others? Whether it's helping them choose the laptop for coding that they should use, so he has kind of his specific markets he hits depending on which video it is. So if it's a computer science student, he made a desk setup for his girlfriend who's a data analyst. So there's all kinds of different things going on.
Well, I'm replying to somebody that asked what today's focus was. I'm letting them know it's tech influencers, past, present, future. So bottom line is, I just want to reply to them real quick. I apologize. We need to have somebody in here doing that for us, like with the handful of people that engage through one of the channels. Again, just for everybody, because I need to get this in when we do the opening. I'll get better at that. This is being streamed on Twitch, Facebook, and YouTube. The call to action that we're asking everybody to do right now is join the Facebook group. That's the number one call to action. Go join our Facebook group, facebook.com/groups/the creative tech. And the second call to action, the second biggest thing we need you guys to do at this early stage is to subscribe to the YouTube channel. By subscribing to the creative tech on YouTube and hitting that bell, you're going to be notified. And again, 1:00 every Saturday live. Then it gets posted. And so if you're not here, if you're not part of the group, don't worry. This gets put out there regardless, because we want everybody to, join and be a member of this group that embodies the creative tech. And, hopefully we have a plethora of potential opportunities, objectives, projects. I already have probably over 100 projects right now with the 3 companies or 2 companies that I have outside of this one. And that's another thing. We need to get this to become an actual legitimate company. I'm actually making this. I wanted the creative tech to be my personal brand, but again,
maybe that does make sense though, because I was watching a video the other day, and it was talking about if you're gonna go all in on something, you might as well just focus on that one thing. So maybe instead of trying to create your own brand, this brand, Ikora's brand. I mean, you have, like you said, you have a lot of different things going on.
Well, Icora is the main brand. That's the breadwinner, right? That's the one that's allowing this even to happen. So by having Icora, the main ship, I could have had a YouTube channel 5 years ago. I needed a vehicle, and I needed to have Icora figured out. Like, it has to make sense. There has to be a light at the end of the tunnel. There's so much to this. And I call it anchoring and creating your funnels to make sure that you're everything in life, because life is difficult. There are so many variables and so many responsibilities. Owning a house, 6 kids, and 2 vehicles right there alone is a full-time job. As a human, we're now with one person able to do, the work of 100 men. As one person with technology that we have today, I can manage keeping my lawn mowed, the house clean, the plumbing good, all that with those that where I live and the brands I choose to help make that a reality. So that way I can focus on this. I'm one person keeping all that going because of the people I work with, the army I'm raising. The money that comes to me, that's the money is water. It's flowing. It's not about how much money you have. You're going to die. That money doesn't mean shit. It's how much money goes through you. Your lifestyle will determine, your finances will determine your lifestyle. And what lifestyle you want to live, well, you better fucking figure that out, because you need to get that faucet flowing to do that. I'm going on a tangent really bad. I got to stop it. All right.
But I think that's a discussion that every YouTuber has with themselves too, because we're talking about tech influencers, is how do they create money, or how do they make money to create their brand? So whether it's sponsored videos, you get to a certain point, you have brands reaching out. Maybe that's your breadwinner, sponsored deals, certain
that's
trips, things.
You don't start with a YouTube channel.
Right.
You can't. You have to start with, like the influencers that start on TikTok while they're at McDonald's working, and they get a big following, and then they leave McDonald's, and now they can be a TikToker or whatever. And I'm sure McDonald's has rules where you're not supposed to be doing that stuff, so they can get fired while they're doing there's certain avenues that people take, and there's a right way to do it, there's a wrong way to do it, and there's the uncharted waters way of doing, like I just talked about. What you have to do is you can gamble if you want. I don't like gambling. I don't like playing lottery. I don't like to me, trying to TikTok while you're at McDonald's, that to me is gambling. You getting a job in a field that you love, like my daughter right now loves art, and I want her to find something, because she loves creativity, she loves art. She also has found out, since she's taken this class at school where they go like criminal, what is that called, forensic science, and like blood splatter and all this stuff. She's found an interest in the rationale behind and finding how people think, and so she's found some interest in creativity and art and solving things and problem solving with in the science world. So for me, I'm trying to get her involved working somewhere that deals with art, or that deals with people in a sense. I don't want her going to Skyline because it's closer to her home and just getting a quick job making whatever, just like all high school kids do. I want her to start looking for opportunities. Like, I'm in talks with this one pagan shop because it's all like crystals and stuff, and she really thinks that's really cool. So I'm like, let's work here and see if that's really something you're into. Like, you start working at places, you start building up. And if you look at this guy, he became a YouTuber. The way he's living with his house right now, there's something behind that. Either he has rich parents that allowed him that raised him right, didn't just shove him money, but actually gave him direction. And now he's like, what is his origin story? I would love to know that, right? Do you know?
Are you sharing I don't think you're sharing your screen.
Oh, sorry.
No, you're good. I know he immigrated to Canada from Brazil. I know he said in a video that his parents didn't pay for anything. Because he was still living in his parents' house before he got his condo. I don't think he lived on his own before that. And he actually just made a video talking about how he got his condo and all the costs associated with it. And I think in order for him to get his condo with the down payment, Canada's got all these other different things, but it was like $125,000 to actually make that happen. And he said that, it wasn't from his parents, it was from his own brand. But yeah, I'm not too sure on any of the other details about that.
I'm asking YouTube or GPT to find out for me. Seeing if it can find out. So he got a bachelor's degree, so he went to college. You know what? Let's do this. I'm going to copy all of these guys. In fact, I wish that document was done. And if it was, we'll do that next week. We need to finish the document. In fact, I'm going to make it a Microsoft 365 list. That way we can keep it growing. I know we have a group created on Facebook, but I'm starting to think that for the advanced creative techs that are on the Facebook group, those that are advanced that want to be a part of this, do you know where I'm going with this already?
No, I'm gonna let you hear out the story. What do you think?
Well, where I'm going with this is I want a way for us all to engage and build apps. We're gonna take a moment now because I think the topics are getting all over the place. So I want to take some time. We're supposed to have a break. We have an agenda, by the way. Let's pull this up. Let's look at our agenda. 5 minutes intro, catching up 5 minutes. This is where we had all our technical issues. I started getting into topic 1, and I learned, and I know this document looks really stupid right now as far as simplicity goes. The other one that has all of the stuff in it, this short list is a breakdown of that long ass list, and I forgot to put. We definitely need to go over the focus. I just wanted to dive into topics. Wait a minute, no, you have to take a moment to discuss the list of people before you go into the topics, right? So, and we'll get the formatting right. Maybe we'll do this. We'll do a version of this episode next quarter or something. I don't know. Just to see the delta between the show when we did it this time and then the next time we did it, and try to have some different influencers in there to have the discussion maybe change a little different. But if I had the list,
choose who's our favorites. Maybe pick a tighter niche than just tech. Maybe because yours were all about YouTubers that are helping you create your own career. It's career advice, it's financial advice, and it's all these other things. But maybe I
think it's more culture advice. I look at it more as culture. How can you build a good culture? How do you start from the root? And it's not just that either. It's strategy on how to do marketing and how do you where do you spend your money? How do you do your testing with your marketing? The people I'm looking at are spending hundreds of thousands of dollars to test a video before it goes live. And here we are trying to spend 20 minutes before a video, spending next to nothing. You get the drift on the difference. And I'm trying to get this channel to start looking at these bigger channels, these influencers, these creative techs. What about them? What are they doing? And I think I can be up there in a list along with those. I've always felt that way since I was young, that celebrities, people look at celebrities and go, oh my God, look at that person, like almost worshiping them. And to me, I've always thought that was so weird. That's just another person. They could be nice. They could be mean. They could be smart. They could be, ignorant. But it's just another person. And if I met them, I just shake their hand and talk to them. I'm not going to give them any kind of praise because they don't have anything special, do they? We all can think, we all can do things, and I've learned that that's not all true. That some people are a little bit more capable than others, but bottom line is I think that if you don't compare yourself to people too much and you just focus on what you enjoy and you find your voice, you can be a part of or do whatever you want. How you make people feel is like the biggest thing in the world. I really believe that. And these guys all here are helping people by like, and that's another thing. Alex Hormozi talks about this a lot. If you're not helpful, if you're not useful, like think if shit was going down and you were like the most useful person in the room, if we had to cut some weight in the chopper and throw somebody off because we were going to all die if we don't, are we going to throw the useful person off?
Definitely not. I mean, if you're smart, you're not. I mean, we'll see though.
Oh, but you could be a useful person and be thrown off if your assholism overextends your usefulness. Like, hey, he's very useful, but my God, putting up with him is, yeah. And I think that's the wheelhouse I landed myself in a lot because of my energy and not being able to harness it properly. And it took me a long time to figure that out. Sorry for everybody that I've cussed out, called names, or belittled. At least that's how it made people feel. I don't feel like I'm somebody that goes up and calls people names or belittles them for the sake of doing it. Like I think just because of being objective and being the way I am, I can say like, I know you're choosing not to do this, blah 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 blah. Like, but still, that gets results. You can get somebody to get your actions, but at what cost? You can end up being an asshole. So I just keep doing this, don't I? I need to learn to stop and shut up.
I gotta stop you. I gotta find a way to
kick me under back in. So just to go over the agenda real quick, I do want to have a solid agenda for these sessions, and this is the way they should go. We should have an intro, a moment for you and I to catch up and talk about some of our personal endeavors, because this is a combined. You're a creative tech. I'm a creative tech. We're the ones that have the mic. So we're going to go ahead and just let people know what's going on with us to some degree. And then we're going to discuss the focus. We need to lay out the focus. We can't just say, hey, the focus is tech influencers. Now let's get into the topics. We got to lay out the focus. And then after the focus, we can get into direct tech, topic one. But between the topics, I want to take a moment to talk about the community. And then I also want to take a moment to do like a check-in to say, okay, now that we're through the tech, the second topic, how much time do we have left? Because usually the last topic will be the one that we don't talk about the most. I think we talked plenty about the present. I feel like we've already covered, like we could have just went over the list with the focus. We didn't have to go so much into each person. And by doing that, I feel like we kind of covered the present already. So I'm not going to worry about that. So let's just go ahead and talk about, we've talked some about the past. We haven't talked about the past of each person, but I want that to be part of the overall creative tech, what we're doing. So our list that we create will have a section that talks about origin story. And I think we need to have everybody's origin. So just a simple 2-3 sentence explanation of their origin story. And
I think in order to put yourself to look at an influencer, YouTube, or whatever it is, and say, this is who I want to be. The first step is learning like, hey, how did that person start their life? Where did they start and how did they get to where they are now? Because there's a lot of things. Good.
I just want to reframe what you said there a second ago. How can I be this influencer? That should be something that, and I get what you're saying. I don't think you're saying that you want to be just like that influencer, but there's certain things about that influencer that you like, because I want everybody here to want to be themselves. First and foremost, you are a creative tech. You have something unique about you. You have a unique voice. You have a unique interest, and everything about you makes you unique. So truly find out what it is about that influencer that you like and be yourself. That's something that I really want us to focus on. Embodying the way we frame things is important. That's why I wanted to correct you real quick, but keep on going.
No, yeah. I mean, I think that's a really good point too, is you look at, I guess, more so like, what are these people doing? What do they get to do? What opportunities are they given? And you think, what can I do to get myself to that point? And whether it's you emulate that person as far as, I want to be a tech YouTuber, or maybe we'll go kind of off the rails and maybe it's an athlete thing you want to do. So you're training like they are. There's a lot of things you can learn from the person for what discipline they had leading up to where they are now. And there's a lot of valuable things, whether it's how they scheduled their time. You mentioned systems a lot of time. That is a very important thing, is getting your systems correct. as far as like, my camera messing up earlier, that kind of threw a wrench into things. If my system should have been there and maybe things would be going a little smoother.
Well, whoa, I think you just froze. First of all, that sucks. And then secondly, I want to say that to get into, to go into everybody's past, having everybody's origin story, so we have a good topic on the past. Everybody that we listed today, they have a career in either design, in business, in coaching, whatever it is. Their presence on YouTube, their influence they have on people is just another extension of themselves. That's all it is. They're not just YouTubers. They are people with careers in similar or like-minded areas of business, and they all use YouTube as an extension of themselves. They're not just YouTube. So for the future, we can tell a lot about these YouTubers and what they're doing based on their other endeavors they do. So I think we only have less than 10 minutes left. So what I'd like to do is spend this time talking about the community and doing our catch up, because I think we did a pretty good job of going over the influencers we have. And Cole, I don't know what, are you back? It looked like your screen froze just a little bit there, or maybe that's my screen freeze. I'm sorry. Can you hear me okay? Cole? Oh, no.
I'm here. Yeah, I'm here.
Oh, okay. I'm sorry. It looked like you were frozen.
I don't know why it says I never have issues with connection. I'm just, flabbergasted here.
Well, again, I'm not that pressed about it. Let's see, we have one viewer, and I think that's because I have the screen up over on my other thing, and I don't think we actually have somebody watching us. So this is all part of, I guarantee you, everybody that we have on our list, the 8 people that's on our list, they've had worse moments than this. Imagine being live with people or having hundreds of people and shit like this happening. That would be
embarrassing.
Exactly. And we should be embracing the technical issues we're having right now. We should be using this experience to prepare for when we do have 100 people. So, you are still new in your setup, and I think it's important that, to help keep us on track, maybe we look at our format somehow. I don't know. We're going to start meeting once a week. Cole and I talked about this a little bit last week. And I'm trying to do this in a way that, Cole, once you and I find the time to weekend during the week, and we stick to that, so we have an hour together to prepare for the show, a half hour, I think we should be a requirement. Like when I was in a band, I told the band members that, hey, when we start practice, there's no cigarette smoking and no beer drinking or anything like that until we go on break. And then during break, no drugs, no alcohol, get your cigarette in or whatever. On our last break, because it's a 3-hour session, we jam for an hour, we take a 15-minute break, we jam for an hour, we take a 15-minute break, and then we just rehearse what we played for the last thing. And this was over 10 years ago. And I made these guys, I said, if you want me to help, this is what you have to do for me. You have to commit to being here on practice. And when we have our practices, we go in this room. They bitched about it, but I tell you what, after the first 2 or 3 practices, when we had a whole set written and they were like fucking bragging to all their friends and girlfriends and talking about how awesome we were, like they won't thank you, but you can tell that they thank you. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah, definitely.
So bottom line is, as we grow this thing up and turn it into whatever it's going to be, I'm just excited because even if we did something really stupid right now, like, we're still doing it. Fuck them. All right, Cole, let's hear about your video you shot, man. I know you're excited about it. You've been working hard on this thing forever, and I'm hearing your aspirations wanting to do a video once a week and pumping these things out, which I really hope it goes the way you want it to. And I'm here to support you mentally or, with the work if you need it. I'm here for you, my friend. Let's
Yeah,
hear what you got on.
it's going to be tough to do once a week, but I'm going to see what I can do to make it happen. But yeah, I recently converted my garage to my home office. So it took about it was a 4-month process. So I filmed the whole thing. I created a video for it, and I actually have it dropping tomorrow at 9 a.m. So I got everything set up. It's pre-scheduled to upload right on time. I got the description in there. We got affiliate links ready to go. Just trying to make things happen because, it probably won't get very many views. But if it does, I want to make sure everything's set up so that I get everything out of it that I need to, whether it's to get people to click on my page and check out my other content. So it's just creating that first video and getting your brand right, because the worst thing is having a video blowing up. Then they go click on your page and realize your other content doesn't really meet that same standard, and they're going to click right off because they found your page. They found that one video that went viral, and they're almost going to want to look for that. Maybe it's the same style of content. Maybe they liked you as a person. Maybe they liked your aesthetic. They're going to go to your page and look for that because they're like, I want more of that. So for me, it took me a while to make this first video, but with it, I refilmed myself doing the narration 7-10 times, different angles, different days, different time of the day, just because I'm like, oh, maybe I'll be more chipper in the morning, or maybe after work, I'll be more, I was never more chipper after work, but essentially, I tried all these different angles and all these different things to see, how can I do it the best? And after doing it 6 or 7 different times, I was like, you know what? You just got to press record. What you get is what you get, put it out there, and you can always do better next time. So for me, it's a little different. This isn't my first ever YouTube video, but it is my first video on this brand. So I want to make sure, any content I'm making after the fact is only going to help out my other videos so that when they click on one, they get that same style of video for the next. But then there's also a part of it too, is you don't want to box yourself in. You don't want to make content about just one thing. So right now I'm kind of doing some research on, what are those 8 topics I want to hit? Hopefully it's 4 different type of niches, I guess, tech, cameras, computers, whatever those 4 main topics are, create 2 videos each and kind of go from there, maybe once a month, whatever that schedule ends up working out. But yeah, dropping my first video on the YouTube channel tomorrow at 9 a.m. And it's my garage converted office 2024. So I'm pretty excited for it to actually get put out there.
That's awesome. And I do apologize. I just realized while you were doing that, let me push this back. I'm okay.
So someone asked, Cole, will your videos be about electrical design? So yeah, that is one of the 4 topics that I hope to make my channel about. I spent a lot of time using Autodesk Revit products, which is just 3D software to create construction drawings, but then also spend some time in the field. We're taking these buildings, they're an empty shell space, we're turning them into a healthcare facility, all these different things. And those are things that I do every day. So for me, that's content I should be making content on, because that's something that I do every day. That's something that I don't have to schedule time to leave my house and go do this because just for the sake of doing it for the video. You want to film things that you're already doing on a daily basis. So for me, that's an easy topic. Electrical design in general, using AutoCAD, Revit, even free software. Actually, the video tomorrow, I used a website called floorplanner.com to actually design my garage out here. And I use that to help inform my decisions before purchasing anything, whether it's the pegboard behind me, the shelf, any of those things. I didn't really want to go buy a bunch of things, bring it out here and realize, those things don't really match each other. So I spent a lot of time in the pre-production process and used floorplanner.com to design it out. And that's kind of a long explanation to that answer, but I hope that answered the question.
Well, let me see the show us a few, don't play the video because it doesn't drop till tomorrow, but can you share your screen and let us see maybe a few screen grabs or something? Like let's
let's
let
let's
us
go over
let us in
the
a little bit.
let's go over
That's what it's all
the
about. You get exclusivity to incredible things that the world hasn't even seen yet.
So we're gonna share.
You've seen it here first, ladies and gentlemen. Cold Chase in his amazing studio.
Let's grab this
Now,
window.
I'm getting all excited.
All right. So what we're gonna do is let's look at the thumbnails, because that was one thing I was really trying to. Yeah. So let me
absolutely
add this to the stage.
And we are now officially at the 1 hour mark, just so everybody knows. And we are going to go over a little bit. The wife's needing to go. My wife's going to Mexico to watch the Backstreet Boys. She asked me if I wanted to come, and I was like, "You go, wow, you do you, babe." She's going with one of her girlfriends, so she's happy. But yeah, and she needs bathing suits. So I got the son this week. We're going to go to Kenwood and hang out. I'll take him to the Apple store so we can goof off a little bit. But anyway, so we're gonna go over a little. That's fine by me. Cole, do you have a hard stop or anything?
No, we can go over for sure.
Cool. Keep it going. I just want to. I know we're very young at this whole thing. I want us to stay on like time. We will grow and get better at this as we go, especially once we get help to help make the channel better, to help give us like somebody that actually watching this with us and answering people and making sure we're on time and kicking us under the table when we're off topic. Yeah, like we'll get there. So
yeah, I got 5 different thumbnail options. I was really struggling for which one to choose, but this is option 1. This is option 2 because I didn't know, I was like, do I want to make the video about, when I want the video to go live, when people end up searching for content, they want to know an answer to something, because that's the biggest thing is if you can make a video that answers a specific question, then it's golden, because anytime people have that question, they search it. This, I don't know how many people are searching, how do I convert my garage into my office? So I wasn't trying to box myself in. So with the thumbnail, I was trying to choose a thumbnail that maybe applied to people that were converting just a normal room to their office. So that was one thing I definitely struggled with. But yeah, this is option 1. Option 2, thought it was nice, having the dog in there. Might get some people to click on it because of the dog, maybe not. We got option 3, got the dog in there again. I just really like this angle because it kind of shows off that it is actually a garage. I didn't want to have the thumbnail not have any garage aspects to it, so that people can kind of see the rawness. And I think this is actually the thumbnail I decided to go with, because you can kind of still tell it's a garage. Or maybe it was this one. And you kind of see the elements of the design process. I got my Revit in the background. I was working on some work when I took these thumbnails just to give it some context. But yeah, I think this is actually the thumbnail I have on there right now. Not to say that I won't switch it in the morning or potentially go with the AB thumbnail tool that switches out your thumbnail and lets you know kind of which one performs better. But being that it's a new channel, I don't know if that would even be beneficial to me right now.
Yeah, that's so. Yeah, do you want to show us a few screen grabs so we can get into the next piece here?
I can do that.
And how many times did you say you reshot the talking part?
I don't even want to know. I really don't. At least 7 times.
That's where you go and you hit record, you sit down and you go through your spiel. Then you go back and you take the card out, just throw it in your computer, and you watch it, and you're like, bleh. And then you go take the card back out of your computer, go back over to your camera, stick it back in there, maybe reformat it because you don't want to ever let anybody see what you just did. And you go ahead and get started again, you do it again. Sure. And this isn't a quick process, right?
Definitely not. Cool Chase, and in this video, I'm going to show you everything I did to convert my boring one-car garage into my work from home office. Let's check it out. So there's the intro.
That's a very I'm sure that picture you have with the world blowing its brains out, that definitely has to help your mental health. I'm just throwing that out there.
I was actually struggling because I'm like, do I blur it out? Like, what do I do? Is that going to hurt me? Is that going to help me? But then I was like, I can't think about it. That's why I took it off when I filmed the talking head, you can tell. And I took it out.
That's where it was. Yeah.
And I actually took it out when I filmed the initial intro B-roll. But then there were some elements I already filmed with it up there. I did use a couple film mats to do kind of just show multiple angles. We got another talking head. I tried a different angle on a different day, just to switch things up. Hopefully that doesn't hurt me.
I think you've put so much thought into this that it's what's going to hurt you is that 5 years from now, as this thing gets big and we're making videos like this left and right, and you look back and go, how much time I put and how much pain I had, even on the thumbnail, for Christ's sakes. Because I really do think that you're trying to, and this is raw, uncensored feedback coming from somebody that cares about you and wants you to see this come to life. I think everything you're doing is amazing, and I think you need to pump this out there. I think it should be out there already, and I think this is your first desk video, and I don't think it's going to be great. I think it's going to be your 10th one that's going to be great. And I think once you understand that, once you get 5 more of these under your belt, because you're the one that's been preaching that to me. First of all, let's make that clear here. That's why I have no problem giving you this advice. So that's number one. And number two is that I've always agreed with you on that. I agree that the very first one I put out for Ikora is even going to be crap. I want that crappy one for Ikora to not be anywhere close to the crappy one for the Creative Tech, right? Yeah. I want to go through that growth here. And the channel you're building, like, this is your personal brand, right?
Definitely. Yeah.
Your personal brand, this fits right where you, because this shows where you are right now and you're in this shows with you going through the painstaking, figuring out the thumbnail, not worrying of, getting the dog in the image because that might attract the right person, but does the gun make an issue? I don't know if I should leave that in or not. Can you go back and reshoot the shot with the picture in there, or is it even worth doing it? Even thinking about all that at this point, it's minutia. It's noise. It's all it is. You being focused on just showing people your desk, showing them where you are, and then moving on. Like, pump these videos out week after week. That's going to be a challenge. And like I said, I'm excited to see how you do. I hope it goes well for you. And I hope that right now, I look back about the times when I was stressed about some of the, custody stuff or some of the family stuff, the house stuff, and how I used to paint around it, or I'm never going to own a home, that's too much work, and how much, all these things. And then once you get there and you live it and you look back at it, you're like, I made that much harder than it needed to be, because I wasn't if we knew now what we knew then, we wouldn't have had those problems. But that's
2020. Such
we're
a
all
growing. Saying, but had to throw it out there.
Hey, I'm still riding the 2020 wave. I don't know about anybody else, but the modern workforce, the modern workspace, it's all changing still. Like, everybody go work from home now, bring everybody back, and we'll have a hybrid. Oh, wait a minute, there's actually some real issues with this hybrid thing. We really need to bring everybody back, and that's what I'm seeing happen now with a lot of spaces. You're going to hear a lot more places saying, hey, you know what? We're going to make our workspace way better because we want them at the office because that's where we're the most productive. But the workspace can't be the sanitary, sanctuary. Like, it's like a prison. Walls up everywhere. Like, open spaces became a thing. Google 20 years ago. 10 years ago, whatever it was, when they had their awesome office space. Have you ever seen those? They had the pods.
It's been a minute since I've looked at them. But my fiance's sister is about to start at Google in Washington later this year. So I'm sure I'll get to see some cool photos of what their office still looks like, because it'll be an in-person position for her.
Well, that's the beautiful thing, is that Google still has remote work, but when you have to go to work and they have you all there, the spaces are inspiring, collaborative, and open, and it's beautiful. That's the new era. That's where, and one of my clients is a authority in workspace. They do office spaces. They design them and install the glass wall, like high end design construction company that does the stuff for tall buildings and stuff here in Cincinnati. And just think about that. Cincinnati is so small compared to the world. You go to New York and look at their structures and think about how many authorities they have that do office spaces. Oh my God.
I can't imagine.
And the world is full of opportunity. It's a sea of whatever you want to do or be. And it's all like, we grew up hearing that shit and it all sounds like bullshit. I'm telling you, let me get another, I don't like to talk about finances and business on here, but what I will tell you, once you get a business going and you got enough recurring revenue coming in from that business to sustain a solid life and to allow you to provide for your family and take care, and you're already on that path. The company you're with right now, if you were to be there until you're 65, think about that relationship between you and that company. They would owe you something for damn sure. And a company that truly takes care of their employees, I hope they would take care of you. But do you want them driving the whole time? Do you want to be clocking in and clocking out for somebody else's dream? Or do you enjoy the projects enough and you get to do things to where, yeah, I have my personal life and I get to take care of this business too. I like this. I don't know. That was a stupid rant. I'm sorry.
No, you're good. I think these are all good. I actually got more viewers to tap in a few minutes ago, so worked out.
Well, yeah, and I hope everybody comes back next week. Join the group, facebook.com/groups/the Creative Tech. Go subscribe to the channel. We are going to be back here next Saturday. Oh, and I always do this with our reviews at Icora. When we're wrapping up a quarterly review, let's schedule the next quarterly review. We already have the next session scheduled Saturday at 1, but let's go ahead and figure out the focus. What do we want? If there is somebody watching, if you want to chime in, here's your opportunity to give us some feedback on what we should talk about next week. Again, it needs to be along the lines of the creative tech, right? We're looking through the lens of being the authority in all these people we talked about today. If we were to be managers of influencers and we were to say, hey, you need to we're going to talk about this and pick this apart. That's what we need a topic on, a focus on, and something for us to dig deep into what the creative tech embodies and what it is. We didn't get into community stuff today. We are working on a worksheet. We want all creative techs that are part of the group to fill out the worksheet. That way you kind of have your own character sheet as being a creative tech. And if it's optional, you don't have to do any of this if you want, but we would love for people to fill out that form once we have it created. And if you have any ideas on that, we'd love to hear it. I think when I start building the list with these creators, I want to go to Microsoft and build a list where there's columns for each one of these things. What's the origin story? What's their YouTube descriptor? What's their YouTube channel? What's the email to reach them through their business? What's their website for their business? To really lay out, because what I want to show other people is that these people that we love and watch, these guys are living in a world that most people don't even know about. Their families, financial wealth, family wealth, having your kids on payroll and having them have LLCs so that way you can have other tax write-offs and things of that nature, paying family to come stay the night with you for business purposes. There's so much out there that we as small people that grow up with working parents that work 9 to 5s and pay taxes, we are blind to the way another level live. And I'm not saying that we all want to live there. We just need to understand that game and the rules of it. And if we do, we can, because everybody's creative tech loves technology. They love being creative. So how can you do what you love to help you get to that, as close to that level as possible, and share resources, build community. That's what we're trying. I don't know what it is going to be yet. We'll get there.
It's all part of the process.
That's right. And work's going good for you, Cole?
Yeah, things are going good. Super busy. Working on quite a few different projects in and around the state and actually out west. Working on designing some grocery stores out west. I'm working on a cool restaurant that's going to be across from the Capitol building in Columbus. It's going to have a couple different bars, a couple kitchens, pretty big endeavor. It'll be really cool when it's done. They have their own dedicated lighting designer, and then we're the MEP, the mechanical, electrical, plumbing. So we're coordinating with them. So there's a lot of cool players at stake here, and it'll be right across from the Capitol. It'll be a really cool restaurant coming up. So
and that shit excites me, man. Hearing about that, because that right there, I mean, even though you got like your job, the video that you created for your desk space, that's where you go to work every day. Well, most days. You gotta go to the office like once a week.
Once a month.
Yep. So I mean, like the beautiful thing that I think for you to show is in your personal channel, and even if you were to stream, like I see people on Twitch that are streaming through the day just while they're working, and they'll engage with people and talk. It's almost like being at the office and hanging out with you, like working at a bar with all your friends around you, and you're just, you're working and everybody's chatting and talking and hanging out. And the modern workforce, the fabric, I talk about this a lot, like there is no such thing as work-life balance. I mean, there is, but even when you're at work, you're still like life's still going on. It's more of a fabric for me. I don't like turning one off and like they're both living at all times. So for me anyway, but yeah, this is all exciting to me. I love hearing what people do. And I want to help others that want to grow and do something or find work, yeah, let's help everybody, find their path and their plan. All right. I gotta get off here. I'm going to get the family into town here. So I think this was a good session. I think we had a good episode. Yeah, I will be here next Saturday, and Cole and I are going to find a time to talk. Guys, appreciate everybody coming. Ladies, not just guys. I say guys a lot, but I'm talking about everybody when I say that. I'm just a sexist pig. Sorry. Love you, bastards. Keep it heavy. Keep it real.
See ya.
Peace.